What I'm saying is that I do believe Arsenal are equipped, but they're fighting against a very strong Man City. But I do believe Arsenal can go all the way because you gain experience within, games. And I think today was a huge game for them. It is.
Pep, don't forget about Pep. Pep's the man. How many? Listen.
Of course, but today we play. I mean, Liverpool is probably one of the top team in Europe. And the statistic that you just mentioned, 2 games lost. Over the last
34 games.
I mean, you have to give credit where it's due. I think today Arsenal performed really well in every aspect of the game. Tactically, Arteta was spot on. The player played the way they were supposed to play. It's the first move, the first goal is the move of the game, and you could tell that they've been working on it during the week, and it happened.
Arsenal, if Liverpool or Arsenal are going to win this league, they're going to have to beat Man City. So Arsenal have got to go to Man City. Man City have got to go to Anfield. They will have to do that, obviously a lot more than that. But I think Arsenal beat City, didn't they, early on the season?
Yeah, very tight game.
For Man City, you think of what they did in the games against Arsenal last season. They probably won them the title. That's what both teams are going to have to do in the second half of the season if they're going to have any chance at all.
The thing about Mikel Arteta is in the Arsenal team that he's got here, I don't look at them and think that he can get any more out of them. I think that he's honestly achieving the maximum with this group of players, and that's a great job. So what he's doing is fantastic. I just wish he had one player at the top end of the pitch.
Do you think that's a mistake, Gary, that they didn't address that if there was money available to do that in January?
But there was money available in the summer.
There was. They spent £70 million on Havertz, or £65 million.
Havertz was the player.
I watch him today, Havertz, when he's moving into the box. He's a different type of player, but he's quite languid. There's no change of pace into the box. There's no change of direction. There's no little darts. And then I think of sort of Jesus when he plays, and he's everywhere but where you want him to be. He's everywhere, Jesus. I love him to bits, but he's literally, like, when you want him in the centre of the 6-yard box, he's probably on the right wing or he's at right back. And then you look at Nketiah, who's probably the most natural out of all of them, maybe just isn't up to the standard of the other two. So all 3 of them have deficiencies, which mean that they don't deliver. Saka and Martinelli today were sensational. They were putting balls into the box. They were just ready to be there and knocked in, and they're just not there.
I feel Arsenal sort of last season, probably this season right now, they're probably where Liverpool were before they sort of got the goalkeeper and Van Dijk. That player that you just think, oof, just elevates. And I still think Arsenal are waiting for that player to really elevate them. Their own De Bruyne or their Haaland.
What can he do? Because obviously we've talked about this. Everyone's talked about Arsenal and the lack of the striker. What can Mikel Arteta do now with the players that he's got to make one of those players score 10 goals in the last 15 games?
Okay,
what can he do now? That's the bit that I keep thinking. What can he do? Who can he put in there?
I think it's what you just said. I think with what you got, he's doing an amazing job. We're saying that they spend money, 70 million for this player. Okay, is it big money in today's football, 70 million for a striker? I don't think so. 70 million, maybe back in the days, you were getting a top striker. 70 million is very light. Okay, Alan was, different story, but usually if you want 20 goals player, you go way above 70 million, So if they didn't bring anyone, it's because they perhaps couldn't.
He's not a striker, though, is he? We still don't know what his best position is. I think you could have got a striker for 50 or 60 million.
Who?
Or even 70.
Well, let's say Richarlison's not available.
You're talking about what would you do to get the goals. I don't think these players are all of a sudden going to become great goal scorers. I think we probably know what they are.
How can that cameo? How can they get that?
My point being is, look at the other end of the pitch. Arsenal defensively are fantastic. Yeah. So sometimes it's not a case of, right, we need to score more goals, because I'm not quite sure they've got a goal score. Well, I know they haven't. I think we all know that. But if they're better at the other end, that gives them a chance. You don't have to score 3 goals.
Could Jesus, though, not adapt his game for the last part of the season and just play in the width of the box in the final third where he makes those? Because he must have the experience now. Jesus.
Do you think he's a finisher?
I'm talking about just moving centre backs across the near post. They never have anybody in the centre of the goal making those little runs.
But he's been doing it for the last 5 years.
I know. Yeah.
I think he's the kind of guy that creates space for his teammates. I think he's good at creating space. So he will drift wide. He will hold the ball. He's a very complete player. He's at 20.
It's not about just Jesus. As I've said this before, Liverpool won a title with Firmino up front.
And it didn't seem a problem for Arsenal last season when they came so close. But do you think this is going to be the one thing that might cost them?
I think you need to score goals to win trophies, so you can be good defensively, but if you want to, that's how I feel. If you want to win trophies, you need to score a goal. If you do 0-0, then you don't concede, but you don't win the game. I think when you see a team like City, that's why you were saying try to prove a point for Arsenal, but how can you make a point for Arsenal when you have a team like City who are just 2 points behind the leaders and just getting back Haaland and De Bruyne? I mean, this is just crazy. Can you really compete against them? It's just too much.